Hello, my name is Ken and I help small content creators make easy and unique cinematic videos. Today I'm going to teach you how to script a cinematic film like Life of Reza for your YouTube channel. First things first, I recommend recording yourself speaking for all of your content. This can be with a voiceover or as a talking head video. I like to do talking head videos and sometimes voiceovers. For this reason, it lets the audience get to know you more through storytelling. And obviously it's a lot less boring if you use your voice. Now you want to write each sentence word by word. Now for your voiceover scripts, you want to write each sentence word by word. I try to avoid using dot point scripting for cinematic films because I usually ramble on and go off of improvising. For example, this is literally my script for this video. I literally pasted it into a presentation slide. Now you want to set your pace with your verbal and visual communication. Your verbal is obviously your speaking and your visual is your shots. For example, less speaking plus more shots, that is more of a visual story. Another example is if you speak more with your voiceover or your talking head video and have less visual shots, then that is more of a verbal story. Another example is if you're speaking more with more shots, that is probably the most engaging you can get with your short film. If you're not using your voice, make sure your shots do the storytelling. So if you don't want to speak on camera or on the mic, then make sure your shots do you justice. Now, after finishing all your sentences in your speaking script, remove the ones that are not relevant. For example, sentences that don't really add any value to your script or your story, then I call that fluff. That means you have to remove it. And it's going to be tough for you, especially if you want to make your video long or make your video dense. You're going to have to remove those fluffy parts because it loses your audience's attention and decreases the retention rate. So is your sentence not continuing the story? Then delete it. Is your sentence a part of a ramble? Cut it off. Do this for your entire speaking script. You basically ask yourself, if I remove this specific sentence or this specific point, will it change the video? If the answer is yes, then keep it. If the answer is no, then you have to remove it or just merge it with another sentence. For merging, if you are unsure about removing a sentence, then you have to merge it with other sentences. So for example, if you have two short sentences, then it's probably better if you merge it into one. Join the sentence with the previous one above or the next one below. So if you look at your script and you have a sentence that you're unsure about removing or keeping, then you can just join that sentence with the previous one above or the below one. Make sure to shorten your merged sentences and don't overcomplicate them because every time I merge sentences, they tend to be really long and complex, so I try to simplify it as much as I can. Now for speaking scripts, you want to start with quantity then end with quality. That's why we remove and merge after we write down everything that we want to say in our film. And if you need help scripting your content, then I can personally help you inside my community, which is in the link below. Now the next part is screenplay. It's basically where you write all the main film shots you want to take. And the key here is to use tick boxes or check boxes for each and every shot. On Notion, on the Notion app, that's what I use to script all of my videos. It's called the to-do list feature. Now with these tick boxes, you want to be very specific with how you describe your shot. For example, you need to include your location, the angle that you want to use, your shot distance, and the action and movement that you're going to do on camera. Of course, you don't have to be specific if you like to, film spontaneously in the moment, but it's all about finding the right balance between being specific, very, very detailed, or very generic and broad. And it's very subjective, so you have to find your own balance with the way you write your screenplay shots. And another tip is to avoid writing every single shot that you want to take in your film because that is just a waste of time in my opinion. What you want to do instead is just to write the key ones. So don't waste your time over planning because the real work starts when you actually film and edit. So just write how many more angles or shots you want to take for that one subject you want to shoot. For example, if I'm filming myself reading a book in my living room, then I would write +3 angles next to my little dot point if I want to shoot 3 more new angles around that one spot or one action. So for this shot, I wrote down backyard, behind shoulder, medium shot, sitting on chair. This is how specific I get. It might not be very specific for you or it might be very specific for you. That's why I said it's very subjective. For this shot, I wrote down kitchen, front POV, low angle, close-up shot, eating breakfast. And for this shot, I wrote down car, street, side POV, long shot, walk to car, and open the trunk. So all of these are my screenplay scripts, right? They're my checkboxes. I try and shorten them as much as possible. I don't really write a full-on description, a paragraph of what kind of shot that I want to take. I just try and use the least amount of words as possible. For example, sitting on chair, that's it. Eating breakfast, or walk to car and open trunk. And then I just usually go out there and film and be spontaneous with it. Now, in terms of editing, you want to make sure that your speaking/screenplay script is ready before you shoot. It sucks to notice a mistake or incomplete parts when filming. What you want to do when editing your scripts is to not over-edit. Leave some room for spontaneous creativity when filming, like I just described to you before. Your script does not have to be perfect, okay? It has to be useful for you because the real result, again, comes from filming and editing. It's not your script. No one's going to see your script. Some of my film scripts look nothing compared to my final edit or my final film. Now, in terms of consistently making cinematic films of yourself, every time you create a new video, have a checklist to tick off. I call these checklists implementations or weekly implementations, and I have them for both scripting, filming, and editing. An implementation is basically a list of must-dos for each task. For example, scripting, I could have a checklist that includes remove unnecessary points or fluff. Another example for scripting can be make your own story flow. Another implementation that I have for editing is add black cinematic bars. So as I edit, as I script, I literally just check off these implementations. So it acts like a guide as you go through each content creation process. If you're a small creator who needs help making cinematic videos that stand out from other people in your niche, click the link down below to join my creator community. We share tons of insights, feedback, and tips inside our community forum, as well as our weekly Q&A calls. In these calls and inside the forum as well, we discuss ways to jumpstart our personal brand and create more high quality content consistently. I can also build a complete content system customized for you and your personal brand that includes schedules, strategies, content ideas, scripts, and a lot more. Click the link down below for more details, and I hope to see you inside.